Now, this will be investigated, but the curious fact, ladies and gentlemen, is that this is how the Uttar Pradesh government largely has dealt with almost every protest which have taken place against the government. Now, it will be interesting to see what kind of sections or the kind of investigation that takes place in this. I mean, political parties in support of the Hathras victim, the protests are now being termed as a conspiracy in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now, moving on. There is a big confusion over the two contradictory reports as far as the Hathras victims' dying declaration is concerned over the gang rape, over being gang raped by 4 men. Now, the medical legal report, the MLC, initially suggested that there was rape. Meanwhile, the FSL report denies that claim, which is on which the Uttar Pradesh police is now relying on. This entire confusion is now giving birth to the narrative and trying to discredit the dying declaration of the Hathras victim. Take a look at this report.
Her wails.
एक बार और रेप करने की कोशिश की थी पहले, अच्छा इससे पहले रेप करने की कोशिश की थी.
Her accusations of rape.
क्या हुआ? भाग आए थे.
Consigned to the flames. Authorities in Uttar Pradesh have ruled out sexual assault in the Hathras case.
Today, the FSL report from Agra has come, which clearly says that there has been no sperm is found on the collected samples, hence the rape was not committed.
But as protests raged over the Hathras incident, India Today accessed the preliminary medical legal report prepared by the Aligarh Muslim University's Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College on 22nd September, 8 days after the alleged assault. The MLC, based on the victim's statement, noted complete penile penetration. It also found injury marks from strangulation on the victim's neck, but no wounds around the vaginal area. The MLC acknowledged the victim was subject to force, but it reserved its opinion about penetrative intercourse pending the complete forensic examination of the samples. The same hospital gave its final opinion 12 days later. In this 3rd October letter to the police, the same doctors concurred with the forensic report that ruled out sexual assault but confirmed signs of strangulation. But questions are being raised. The samples were taken 8 days after the crime and they reached the lab another 3 days later. The rule book says the samples should be taken within 96 hours of the incident.
FSL की रिपोर्ट जो है वो अगर आप उसकी सैंपल शुरू के स्टार्टिंग में 3 से 4 दिन के अंदर कलेक्ट करते हैं तो जो फाइंडिंग आपको उस वक्त मिलेगी वो आपको 11 दिन के सैंपल कलेक्शन के बाद नहीं मिलेगी.
Aside from the medical and forensic contradictions, the new law is explicitly clear about the definition of rape. The dying declaration of the victim is sufficiently admissible in court. Besides, there are troubling questions about the collection of evidence, swabs included, and the late-night cremation. With video journalist Shakil Ahmed and Shiven Srivastav in Lucknow, this is Mosmi Singh in Hathras for India Today.
The entire case is riddled with a lot of inconsistencies, especially on the part where the Uttar Pradesh police, the way they conducted themselves. I just very quickly, with the help of this graphic, want to touch upon the key findings of both the MLC report and the FSL report. And then, of course, we'll go to Mosmi, and we're also being joined by senior Supreme Court lawyer Karuna Nandi, who will be joining us in just a short while from now to understand what kind of impact can it actually have as far as the case is concerned when it goes to the court. Now, the MLC report, the medical legal report, initially said that there was complete penile penetration. It also suggested strangulation by dupatta, though it said that there was no injury mark on the vaginal area. Now, the AMU FSL report, the final report which has been conducted on the other hand, that said that there were no signs of sexual intercourse and injuries on the neck and back. This is the report which was, in fact, the police relied upon, and ADG Prashant Kumar very hurriedly came out and gave a clean chit as far as this entire rape charges in this is concerned. Going across quickly for a word to my colleague Maushmi Singh, who is in Hathras. Maushmi, what is the family saying about these contradictions? And is there a fear, as far as the family is concerned, that there is a deliberate attempt now to discredit not only the victim but the family when it comes to these allegations of gang rape?
Absolutely, Ankit, and they said it to us when we spoke to the mother and, in fact, the sister-in-law of the victim, that this entire thing about a narco test and the way the medical and the forensic reports were contradicting each other is a clear sign that there is an attempt to frame the family and mislead the entire investigations. But importantly, even as I'm on ground zero, we'll show you, our viewers, the scenes that are unfolding at the victim's residence. You know, the entire barrage of leaders, political leaders to various organizations, you know, have been coming in ever since the police has opened up the cordon, and the family has been at pains explaining the incident, narrating the horror again and again. And you know, that also speaks about specifically the sensitivity of the entire matter, Ankit. Even as India Today has pointed out, the medical reports, the way this entire case has been handled has glaring loopholes that really put a big question mark as far as the administration is concerned.
That's right. That's right. Questions one after another. And now we see that the Uttar Pradesh government wants to register cases against anybody who has been protesting against this entire, loopholes, the contradictions as far as the Uttar Pradesh government's narrative is concerned, going on the offensive. Karuna Nandi joining us on the broadcast. Ma'am, thank you so much for speaking to us. I just want to understand legally, and my first question to you, two contradicting reports, one the MLC, the other the FSL report. What kind of bearing will it have when this case goes to the court?
The blank declaration of the victim, as you quite rightly pointed out, has enormous weight, and that alone can convict a person for rape. So, frankly, the fact that the police is repeatedly seeking FSL reports one after the other until they get the report that they seem to want seems very, very problematic and suspect. Because on the one hand, they first got the first FSL report. Then they said that then they got the second. And then they say that, you see, the problem is that the discussion on injuries is completely irrelevant. Take an example where a gun is held to a woman's head. And it is said that, if you struggle even a little, I will shoot you. Obviously, that's not consent. Now, this was never the definition of consent. However, after the Nirmaya gang rape and the uprising that happened after 2012, the law made that even more explicitly clear. And it said that it doesn't matter if there is a sign of injury or struggle or not. It's completely irrelevant. Okay? So the only point here is consent. Now, where there is a dying declaration, the fact that there is such focus on the victim and such little focus on the accused. In fact, the accused and their cohort, which are, 500 of them who are breaking 144 and protesting, the 144 is within the. But the fact that they are there protesting, making what could be seen as caste remarks contrary to the SC Act, and being allowed to do so with complete impunity, whereas a narco test contrary to the savory judgment of the Supreme Court is being thought to be conducted on the family of the victim. And like your reporter on the ground, Tanushree Pandey, revealed, and the interaction with her revealed that possibly her phone is tapped, possibly his phone is tapped. At the very least, some interception was being done by the authorities, possibly, or the third party of the phone call. So I think all of these violations of law are bizarre, including, of course, the destruction of evidence contrary to Section 201 of the IPC when they burnt the young woman's body.
I also wanted to understand from you very quickly, ma'am, that, when the police so much relying as far as this FSL report is concerned that the ADG went on record to say no rape took place. I mean, isn't that an attempt or, jumping the conclusion before the prosecution can even present this case? The prosecution that possibly will go by what the police report says already in this case seems to have made up their mind that no rape took place.
See, the problem is that not only were they going by the FSL report, they were completely disregarding the much stronger evidence of the dying declaration, which of course leads to the conclusion that they are not doing their job as prosecution and are indeed shielding the victim.
Okay, thank you so much, Karuna Nandi, for joining us, with your very relevant legal inputs, because we saw, in fact, I covered the Nirbhaya case, and even at that point of time, it was not that they tried to match the semen of all the 6 accused as far as this case is concerned. All of them on the basis of the dying declaration of the victim and also the witness, that proved to be the most important, in fact, aspect when it came to getting the conviction and getting the death penalty for all these accused are concerned. And also don't forget, they are also charged with the Section 302. I don't know what the government and the people, those who are supporting them, are trying to do when they are trying to discredit this entire theory of the gang rape that took place. And it has to be proven in the court of law, not in the television studios. Thank you so much, Karuna Nandi, for joining us. Thanks to Moshmi as well.
Hello everyone, this is Rahul Kamal here. Hope you enjoyed this video. For the latest news and analysis, like and subscribe the India Today YouTube channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated.